The wind whispered softly across the quiet plains of Virelia, a moon once full of life, now mostly forgotten by time. Dust rolled over old stone paths, and faded symbols glowed faintly on large rocks, placed there by people who no longer lived. The stars above were bright and unmoving, watching over everything like they had done for centuries. Sail stood near the edge of the ancient cliff, her long cloak fluttering behind her. Her pale fingers brushed the stone surface of the ledge where moss had grown thick. She looked up, her violet eyes fixed on a distant star. That star, once long ago, had brought a strange visitor to their world. That visitor was human. His name was Callan, and he had promised something no one else did. "I'll come back for you," he had said, his voice firm but kind. He had placed a hand over his chest, and with eyes full of truth he had left. That was 200 years ago. Sail was no longer young. Her skin was marked by time, her movement slower, her heart heavier with the years. Most of her people had either passed on or moved deeper into the forests. Only a few remained near the old temple, keepers of stories, watchers of the stars. Many no longer believed the human would return. Some said he had perished, others said humans lie. But Sail, she waited. She believed. And then it happened. A flash lit the sky, soft at first, then growing bright like a sun being born. The sound of something heavy passing through the clouds followed. The air changed, the trees trembled. A ship was coming. Sail's heart skipped. She stepped back, staring up with wide eyes as the ship descended, slow, controlled, and steady. The shape was familiar, though the details were different from what she remembered. This was not an alien ship. It was human. The vessel touched down near the ruins where old landing marks still remained from long ago. Dust rose as its legs settled into the soft ground. A humming sound filled the air as the ship powered down. Sail didn't move at first. Her fingers tightened around the necklace she wore, an old charm Callan had left with her. She took a deep breath and walked toward the ship. As she reached the base of the ramp, it hissed and lowered slowly. The doorway opened. From the shadows inside, a figure stepped out. Tall, calm, strong posture. The man wore a suit made of black and silver, marked with earth symbols. His face was clear, not hidden by a helmet. His eyes scanned the area carefully. Then he looked at her. Sail froze. Her throat tightened. It was him. His face had not changed, not even a little. The same soft lines, the same serious expression, the same strong jaw and bright eyes. His hair, the same color. His voice, when he finally spoke, was exactly as she remembered. "Sael," he said, as if waking from a dream. Her lips trembled. Her legs felt weak. "You promised you'd return, human," she whispered, her voice filled with both hope and disbelief. "But after 200 years, how are you still the same?" Callan stepped forward. "I don't know how much time passed," he said slowly. "For me, it's only been a short while. I never forgot. I meant what I said." Tears filled Sael's eyes. She had prepared herself for many things. Maybe he'd be older. Maybe he'd have forgotten. Maybe it wouldn't be him. But this? A man who hadn't aged a single day? "I remember everything," Callan said. "The stars above this moon, your stories, your people, the promise I made to come back." Sail reached out a trembling hand. He gently took it, just like he had done once before. His hand was warm, alive. This was not a dream. "What happened?" she asked. "How are you still young?" Callan looked, down for a moment, unsure how to answer. "The journey I took, it was through something humans call a quantum drift gate. It slowed time. I was placed in stasis, frozen in sleep while my ship moved far across space. When I woke up, only a few weeks had passed for me. But for the outside world, it was 2 centuries, Sail finished softly. He nodded. I was sent to search old colonies and establish contact. But when I saw the coordinates of this moon, I requested to be the one who came here. Sail closed her eyes. The wind carried her memories of fires under the stars, of his laughter, of the fear they both felt when he had to leave. You remembered me all this time, she said, looking up at him. I never forgot you, he replied. The silence between them said more than words ever could. But Sail knew that time could not be ignored. Her world had changed. Her people were fewer. The temple was crumbling, and she was nearing the end of her life. Callan looked around slowly. It's so quiet. It used to be full of music and movement. Most left long ago, she said. Some died in the winters, some were taken by illness, and some simply gave up waiting. I'm sorry, he whispered. You were the only one who ever promised to come back. She stepped forward and gently touched his chest, where his heart beat strong. And now you stand here, just as you were. And I am no longer the girl you saved. You're still you, Sail, he said gently. They stood in silence again, 2 different timelines meeting in one place, the past and the present standing side by side. She led him back toward the old temple ruins. The stones were cracked, but the carvings remained. They sat beside a pool of still water, and for a moment, it felt like no time had passed at all. You came back, she said one more time, as if the words alone could heal the years between them. I always will, he replied. Above them, the stars watched silently, and somewhere far away, Earth would soon learn that the past they thought was lost had just become very real again. The temple was quiet as Callan walked beside Sail through the stone halls. Moonlight slipped through cracks in the ceiling, falling across the faded carvings of her people. Every wall told a story, some of war, others of peace, and many spoke of the day a human came from the stars. Callan looked at his own face carved into one of the stones. His figure stood tall beside a younger version of Sail. It was a strange feeling to see himself frozen in ancient art, unchanged, while everything else around him had aged and shifted. These carvings, he said quietly, they make me feel like a ghost. You became a legend to my people, Sail replied, her voice soft. But legends fade when they wait too long. She touched a symbol with her hand. It glowed faintly under her skin. There's something I have to show you, she said. Follow me. They moved deeper into the temple until they reached a sealed door made of dark crystal. Vines covered its frame, and the air was cold. Sail reached into her robe and pulled out a small pendant, the one Callan had given her 200 years ago. She placed it into a round slot at the center of the door. A soft hum filled the space. The crystal door shimmered, then slowly cracked open. A hidden room revealed itself. Inside, everything was untouched by time. The air felt cleaner, still like a moment frozen in the past. This place, Sail said, stepping forward, was built to hold memories. It's our most sacred chamber. Callan followed, looking around. On the walls were shelves filled with glowing stones, memory crystals. Each one held a recording of someone's experience, passed from mind to stone. Sail picked up a violet crystal and offered it to him. Place your hand on it, he obeyed. As his palm touched the crystal, light poured into his eyes. The temple disappeared. He was standing in the past. In the vision, he saw himself 200 years ago, standing before the young Sail. Her face was full of hope, her hair blowing in the breeze. He saw the day he saved her from raiders, using his training and tools to protect her tribe. He saw her smiling by the fire, telling stories. He saw their hands touch for the first time. More visions came, his shuttle lifting off, her crying as she waved goodbye. And then, the last moment, when he looked down from the window and whispered, I'll return, I swear. The vision faded. Callan opened his eyes. He was back in the present. He turned to Sail. Her expression was serious. There's more, she said. She handed him another crystal. This one glowed a strange blue. He touched it. This time the vision was not just memory. It was a message, left by the ancient guardians of salespeople. He saw a map of the galaxy. Then he saw a warning. Humans will change, they said. Their journey through time and space would twist their nature. He saw experiments, ships flying through unstable wormholes and stasis chambers that did more than just freeze time. They evolved the body, altered it, made it different. Then, he saw his own DNA under a scanner. Parts of it glowed red. Callan's eyes snapped open. He backed away from the crystal, breathing fast. "What was that?" he asked. "You're not exactly the same as the man I once knew," Sale said gently. "Time did not just stop for you. It changed you." He touched his chest, confused. "I feel the same." "Perhaps," she said, "but something inside you isn't." Callan sat down. The truth hit hard. He had always believed he was just frozen in time. But now it seemed something had happened during his sleep in the stasis pod. Something more than just delay. "Is that why I don't age?" he asked. Sale nodded. "I believe so. The energy around the quantum gate may have altered your cells. You are still human, but something inside you is no longer bound to time like before." He looked at his hands. They trembled slightly. "I didn't ask for this," he whispered. "I know," she replied. Silence filled the chamber for a while. Then Callan stood up. "Earth doesn't know what happened to me. They just sent me to explore the past, to find what was left of old colonies." Sale narrowed her eyes. "So you weren't sent here because of me?" "I asked for this location," he admitted. "When I saw the name Virelia in the mission list, I remembered I had to come, but Earth didn't care. They're interested in something else." Sale's tone grew sharper. "Let me guess. The crystal fields?" He nodded. The ancient stones under Virelia held a rare energy source. Earth believed it could power ships for decades. They wanted access. And Callan, unknowingly or not, was now their scout. Sale's face turned grim. "My people protect this land. If they return for the crystals, there will be war." "I won't let that happen," Callan said quickly. "But what can you do?" she asked. "You are one man. Even if you don't age anymore, you are still alone." Callan clenched his fists. "I made a promise, and I intend to keep it. If Earth wants those crystals, they'll have to go through me." He looked around the room, then at the old carvings of his younger self. "Maybe time gave me something. Not just life, but a chance to do things right." Sile studied him. In her heart, she still saw the man who had once stood for her people. And though he had not changed on the outside, inside he was more determined than ever. "Then you must speak to the tribes," she said. "They won't trust you easily, not now." "I'll earn it," he promised, "like I did before." She nodded, but deep in her heart she wondered, could one human changed by time stand against the will of Earth's machines, or was this the beginning of something far greater than either of them expected? Outside, the stars shined bright again, but this time they felt closer. Callan looked up and whispered to himself, "Time gave me a second chance. I won't waste it." The sky above Virelia turned a soft orange as day began to fade. The air was calm, but something in the silence felt heavy, like a storm hiding behind the clouds. Callan and Sile returned from the memory chamber to the outer temple. As they walked, past old carvings and cracked walls, Callan noticed how quiet everything was. No voices, no movement, only birds flew in the distance. "Where is everyone?" he asked. Sile looked around. "Many have gone deeper into the forests. After the last storm season, only a few stayed near the temple. But they are watching. The return of a human. They don't know what to believe." "Let me speak to them," Callan said. "They have to know I'm not their enemy." Sale gave a small nod. "You will have your chance. But first you must see something else. Something hidden beneath all of this." Callan followed her down a narrow hallway that led behind the temple. There, a small stairway curved downward, carved into stone. Dust floated in the air as their steps echoed below. The walls here were smooth, untouched by time. They reached a sealed door at the bottom. Sail placed her hand on a glowing stone. The door opened, revealing a wide chamber deep underground. The room was filled with soft blue light. Crystals grew from the floor and ceiling, their glow steady and gentle. In the center of the chamber stood a strange machine, half covered in vines, half made of smooth metal that didn't belong to this world. Callan stepped forward slowly. "This is human technology?" Sail nodded. "It was brought here long ago, maybe before your time. No one knows who built it. But it holds power, great power. That's why Earth is coming. They want this." Callan approached the machine. Its center pulsed like a heartbeat. He reached out and touched it. In an instant, images flashed through his mind. Ships flying across, galaxies, engines powered by crystal energy, weapons that could split planets. He pulled his hand away, breathing fast. "This thing, it's not just a battery. It's something much more dangerous." "Yes," Sael said. "It is part of what once made this moon a target. But after your people left, we hid it, buried it, guarded it for generations." Callan turned to her. "And now Earth knows it's here again?" She nodded. "They sent you to confirm its location. Once they're sure, they will come. With force if needed." Callan took a step back. "Then we have to stop them. Not with war, but with truth." Sael looked unsure. "Many of my people won't trust you. Not after so much time. They've seen too much, lost too much." "Then, I'll speak from the heart," he said. "Let them see me, let them decide." She studied him for a moment, then smiled gently. "You never gave up before. You still haven't." That night, the forest tribe gathered under the starlight. Lanterns floated around them, and the air smelled of herbs and firewood. Old ones sat in circles, whispering. Children stayed close to their mothers. All eyes turned when Sael stepped into the center of the gathering. Beside her was Callan. Murmurs rose. Some stared with wide eyes. Others frowned in silence. "This is the human from the stories," Sael announced. "The one who saved us long ago. The one who promised to return." "He looks the same," someone whispered. "How is that possible?" "He's a ghost." "No, he's real. Look at him." Callan raised his hand. The crowd fell quiet. "I am Callan," he said, his voice strong. "I came here 200 years ago. For me it was only a short time. But I never forgot this place. I never forgot you." Looked around the circle. "I didn't come here to harm anyone. I came to protect something I once promised to keep safe. This land and the people who live on it." An elder stood. His eyes were sharp, his skin marked with age. "And yet you are part of the same world that left us. The same world that now wants our crystals. Why should we trust you?" Callan nodded respectfully. "Because I am also part of your story. You remember my promise. And I remember yours. You opened your homes to me once. You treated me not as an outsider, but as a friend. I came back because that bond still matters to me." A young warrior stepped forward. "And if Earth comes to take our power by force, then I will stand with you," Callan said without hesitation. The fire crackled. The people looked at one another. Some nodded slowly. Some still looked unsure, but the elder raised his hand. "Let the human stay. Let us watch him. Test him. If his words are true, he will prove them not with talk, but with action." Callan bowed his head. "Thank you." That night, as stars drifted across the sky, Callan sat beside the fire with Sael. "They listened," he said quietly. "They haven't accepted you fully yet," Sael replied. "But this is a start." He looked into the fire. "I won't let them down." But deep inside, he knew Earth's arrival was not far away. His ship had a tracking signal. If Earth Command had followed standard protocol, they were already aware. He had landed, and soon others would come. The peace on Virelia was fragile, and time was running out. Far above the moon, hidden in the black of space, a large human battleship floated in silence. Inside, officers studied Callan's report logs. They saw his landing. They tracked his movements. A woman in a sharp gray uniform stood at the center of the control room. "Commander Voss," an officer said, "we've confirmed it. The energy source is still on the surface, near the temple ruins." "Good," she replied. "Send word to Earth Central. Operation Recovery begins in 2 days." The officer hesitated. "And the scout?" "He did his job. Now he steps aside." She turned to the window, watching the moon spin slowly in the distance. "No one stands in the way of Earth's future," she said softly. Back on Virelia, Callan stood alone at the edge of the cliff once more. The wind carried soft sounds from the forest behind him. He looked up at the stars. He knew something was coming, and he would need to be ready. Sale joined him. "Do you regret coming back?" she asked. He shook his head. "Never," she smiled. "Then we will face what's coming, together." He reached for her hand. She took it. Two people from different times joined by memory, and now, by purpose. The stars above did not speak, but they watched, and the clock was ticking. The days passed quickly on Virelia. Callan spent most of his time with the tribes, learning their ways, their stories, and their fears. The moon's nights were long, but his resolve was stronger than ever. He trained with the young warriors, practiced, speaking in their language, and listened carefully to the elders' advice. Slowly, the people began to see him not just as a visitor, but as someone who truly cared. But word of his return spread beyond the forests and mountains. Messages were sent to Earth, and the fleet began its approach. The great warships moved silently through space, their engines humming like a warning thunder. Callan knew the arrival of Earth's forces would change everything. The peaceful life he had found here could end in a moment. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Sale and Callan stood atop the tallest hill overlooking the valley where the tribes gathered. "They're coming," Sale said softly. "The fleet will arrive soon." Callan's jaw tightened. "Then we must prepare. We cannot let them take the crystals by force." Sale nodded. "The tribes will fight if they must, but they do not want war." Callan turned to look at her. "I don't want war either. There has to be another way." She smiled faintly. "You are not like the others, Callan. You do not age. You are different." He looked at his hands. "That is what scares some of them. But it is also what gives hope," she said. Suddenly, a messenger arrived, breathless. "Callan, elders want to see you." He followed the man to the great meeting hall, a large circular space carved from stone and decorated with banners of many colors. The elders sat in a circle, their faces serious. An elder named Ron stood and spoke. "Human, you have returned as promised. But now the greatest test comes. Earth will not wait." Callan bowed. "I understand. I will do whatever I can to protect this place and its people." Ron's eyes were sharp. "Then you must speak to the commander of the fleet." Callan's heart skipped. "I will." The elders nodded, accepting his words. The next day, the sky above Virelia darkened as Earth's fleet entered orbit. Massive ships blocked the stars, their weapons visible like sharp teeth. The moon's ground trembled beneath their presence. Callan stood on the landing platform, waiting. When the shuttle door opened, a tall woman in a military uniform stepped out. Her name was Commander Voss. She studied Callan with cold eyes. "You are the human scout, the one who defies time." Callan met her gaze. "I am." "You look the same as 200 years ago," she said. "How is that possible?" "I was in stasis during the journey," Callan explained. "Time passed differently for me." Voss frowned. "That is not important. You are here to confirm the location of the crystals. Now that you have, Earth will take what it needs." Callan's eyes narrowed. "Not without the permission of the people who live here." Voss smiled, but it was not kind. "Earth does not ask permission. It takes what it wants." Behind her, soldiers stepped forward, weapons ready. Callan raised his hand slowly, There is no need for violence. He turned to the gathered tribes who had come to watch. Listen to me, he shouted. This is your home. These crystals belong to you, but if we fight, Earth will win. We must find a way to protect this land without war. The tribes murmured. Some looked afraid, others angry. Voss stepped forward. The choice is simple. Surrender the crystals peacefully or face destruction. Kalen looked at her, then back at the people he had come to care for. I will not let Earth destroy this place, he said. With that, he moved quickly, signaling the tribes to stand with him. The warriors raised their weapons, ready to defend. Voss hesitated, surprised by his boldness. Callan's voice rang out. I may not age, but I still bleed. I will stand with you. Together we are stronger than any fleet. A moment of silence followed. Then slowly, Voss lowered her weapon. Perhaps you are more than a scout, she said. You are a symbol. Callan nodded. I am human, but here, I am your ally. Voss turned to her soldiers. Hold position. We will negotiate. Days passed with tense talks between Earth's fleet and the tribes. Callan worked as a bridge between two worlds, sharing knowledge and building trust. The elders decided to allow Earth scientists to study the crystals, under strict supervision. In return, Earth agreed not to mine the crystals until all safety measures were in place. Callan stood beside Sail one evening, watching the stars. This is only the beginning, he said. She smiled. You have changed more than they know, he looked at her. Maybe time did not only freeze me. Maybe it gave me a new purpose. Sail reached out and took his hand. You promised you would return, and you kept that promise. Together they faced the future, unknown, but full of hope. The soft glow of dawn spread across Veralia, painting the skies with gentle pink and orange hues. The moon, once silent and forgotten, was now alive with activity. Earth's scientists worked carefully beside the tribes, studying the crystals, without harm. The promise of peace had held, at least for now. Callan stood near the edge of the temple, looking down at the valley where fires burned softly in the early light. Sail sat beside him, her hands folded calmly in her lap. Her face showed the years she had lived, lines of wisdom and gentle strength. Your people have accepted the new way, Callan said quietly. Sail nodded. Change is never easy, but they trust you. They trust Earth, because of you. Callan smiled softly. I did what I promised. But you still carry a burden, Sail said, her voice low. Callan looked at his hands. The gift, or curse, of not aging is lonely. I have seen centuries pass. I have watched friends and loved ones disappear. And now I watch you. Sail's eyes grew misty. My time is near. He reached out and took her hand gently. I wish I could stay by your side forever. She squeezed his hand. You already do. A quiet moment passed between them. The weight of 200 years sat heavy in the air. Then Sail reached into her robe and pulled out a small crystal, bright and clear. This, she said, is the last gift of my people. Callan looked at the crystal curiously. It holds the power to share the gift of longevity, to live longer, to heal faster. But it must be used wisely. He took the crystal carefully. You trust me with this? She smiled weakly. Because you are the one who kept the promise, the one who defied time. Callan looked up at the sky. Then I will use it to help others, to build a future where no one must wait centuries alone. Suddenly, a signal echoed from his communicator, a message from Earth Command. He glanced at the device and saw an urgent request. Earth wanted him to return. His mission was officially over. Callan felt a sharp pain in his chest. I cannot leave, he said firmly. Sail looked at him with understanding. You have found a new home. Yes, he replied. But I also have a duty to Earth, to show them what it means to protect, not just take. The days that followed were filled with meetings, talks, and plans. Callan worked to unite Earth and the tribes, bridging worlds with hope instead of fear. One evening, as the moon's twin moons rose in the sky, Callan stood alone by the old temple. He held the crystal in his hand, feeling its power pulse softly. He thought of Sail, of the people he had come to love, and of the long road ahead. "I will not waste this gift," he whispered. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Time had not just stopped for Callan. It had given him a new kind of forever, a forever to protect, to love, to build a better world. And as the stars shone above, the human who promised to return kept his promise, not just to one person, but to all who believed in him.